to see how to collect the remaining objects also in a TR. Okay. For example, here my requirement is to, one second. Here my requirement is to collect, for example, as I said, I want to send my sales flow. So generally what practice I will do is, when I wish to move my objects to next landscape, first I will collect all my objects in one Excel sheet. I will make a note of it. Okay, sales flow, which contains one ADSO, one data source, and then transformation and DTP. So I will make a note of it. So this is my ADSO and this is my data source and this is my transformation and this is my DTP. Okay, and flow means currently, as it was a demo server, I have only one thing. I don't know whether on top of it I have anything else or not. Let me see, display data flow upwards. If something is created on top of it, then I can say include those also in my TR. Nothing is there. Yeah, as it was a demo server, nothing is created on top of it, so I cannot show more. But okay, but it's okay. But at the end, the important here is what are the precautions to take when collecting objects. Okay, let me see what is this type of ADSO. Is it object-based ADSO or info object-based ADSO? Field-based. Sorry. These are field-based ADSOs. Okay. Let's see this one. G series. Just a moment. This is also not a field-based ADSO. Okay, leave it. So let's see, for example, I have two info objects like this. Okay, I want to collect these two info objects into my transport. I will quickly show you how to collect these info objects. Because for the people who doesn't know how to collect objects, okay, to give complete idea and spending time in collecting different kind of objects in a TR. But at the end, the transport collection, the process is same. Okay, but the people who wants to see one list once how to collect it, this will be helpful. So I want to collect info objects. In that scenario, I need to select where is my info object type here. So where is my info object type here? Here, info object. Okay, so expand here, double click on the select objects, and now your wish is to collect two info objects. But now how you can do it? Either you can select each one by one, or to save time, what I do is I will select all at one place. I will select my column like this, object technical name column, and I will go to filter. Here, go to this arrow mark and paste your info objects information. Paste using this paste symbol. Okay, and then click on execute and then click on OK. What will happen? For example, if you have 10, 20 also, all these will be coming here. Now what you need to do, very important, don't simply click on transfer as you have it. You must select them first. Okay, by using shift symbol, you must select them from starting to ending, and then after that click on transfer selection. Then this will transfer your objects to the right hand side. Okay, now if you see here, now actually I brought only company code and employee, two info objects, but there is some expand button below it. You see there is a drop down here. Under the drop down I have some other info objects also coming here. You see, but these are all I didn't selected. I selected only info objects. But what system is doing, when system is fetching your info objects information into your screen, it is fetching the dependent objects information also. So this particular company code, I think it is having some dependency on country also. So if you want to understand this dependency, go to RSD1, quickly check what is this. You see this particular is having attribute as country. That's the reason what is happening. Since even though I selected company code, SAP is bringing country information also into my system. Okay, so when you wish to move this particular company code into next system, you must move this one also, because this is also part of it. Okay, that's the reason it is very important. SAP checks all these dependency checks, and it will bring all the dependent objects information. Okay, and you see it is bringing this the info areas also. Why? Because you know all these dependent info areas are also under temporary package, so SAP is bringing those also. So in order to create a similar kind of environment in SAP, in the next landscape, you must transport all these. Okay, now let's go to the scenario where you don't want to transport your dependent objects. Maybe these are already available in your target system, and you want to only select company code and employee ID. So in this scenario, what you need to do is, so keep this company code checkbox like this, and right click on the below flow and do not transport any below. Whenever you say do not transport any below, then all the objects below to it will be unchecked. So yeah, do not transport any below. You see here also it gone. Right click, do not transport any below. Okay, so now by doing this, what we did, we selected only the required objects. My requirement is only to collect company code and employee ID. Now actually you see below are in temporary package. In general, I must collect all these also, but to showcase you that as per your requirement, if you have a requirement to collect only info objects, how to remove the dependent info objects from the collection is by right clicking on that object and do not transport any below. Okay, now select the info objects and click on transport symbol, and then give the proper package name, and then click on OK, and then click on OK. This is a TR where I want to I want to create a new TR to collect my info objects. So select click on this create request, give the description info objects, save. That's it. So this is how. So when you are trying to create info objects, simply you can create in this way also. Okay, collect info objects you can collect in this way. And next thing is, in the same way you can collect DSOs, composite provider, anything it may be. So I don't wish to show those, but next important point I am going there is transformation. So this is fine. Anyone can collect these things if they know the process. But next important point is how to collect a transformation is very important point. Okay, because why I'm saying transformation collection is important point here, there is one important point which I can share with you. So for collecting transformations, you must collect by using the technical name of the transformation. Okay, so let's say initially, okay, you want to collect these two transformations, this one and this one. So first of all, make a note of all the transformation technical names which you want to collect, and then select all. Now go to transport connection, check where you have transformations, type here. Now here it is. Double click on select objects, select the column here, and then here, and then here. Execute. Okay, execute. Now those will come here. Select all by using shift button, then transfer selections. Now under transformation, if you see, so here under these transformations, it is showing the dependent objects information, because transformation is created between the DSO and the data source. That's why dependent objects coming here. Okay, so what we need to do when if is your wish is to only collect transformations in your TR, then what you must do, you must keep the transformation button like this only, and right click on the below objects. So do not transport any below, do not transport any below. Here also do not transport any below, do not transport any below. Now only your transformations got selected here, and then click on transport request, change the package to your required package, and then click on save. And if you wish to create a separate TR for your transport request, so what I'm going to do, creating a new request for my transformations. So most of the projects, they will ask you to create separate, TRs for different objects. So this is very straightforwarding. So whatever we have below two transformations, I asked you to do not transport any below. Why? Because these are dependent flows. If those are already available or you may collected already in different tier. Now I am bringing a new scenario here. I am bringing a new transformation here. Okay, which I want to give you clear information. A transformation where you contain some ABAP proteins. A transformation where you contains some ABAP proteins. You see, so under transformation, if you see anything like this routine, okay, you must collect this also into your transport request. That's why I am explicitly saying this one. So let me refresh this once. Okay, so this already collected. I do not transport any below, do not transport any below, because already we collected these two in our tier. My requirement here is to let you know about this one. Okay, when coming to this one, it is important to, when you select the transformations, if under the transformation, if you see routine, formulas, something like that, which is you defined on your transformation, then you must select transport all below till under remaining options do not transport any below. Data sources also do not transport any below. But along with the transformation, you must collect the routines, formulas, whichever you created in your transformation. So all the routines you created on the transformation will be grouped under routine, and formulas also sometimes you will get here. Okay, so don't uncheck those. Okay na, because here I asked you whatever is there below to transformation, for all the things you do not transport any below. But in this scenario I'm clearly telling, apart from routines, formulas, remaining any type is there, then you can go for do not transport any below. Okay, but when routines are there, formulas are there, these are belongs to the transformation, so you must collect those also into your transport request. So like this, click on transport request and click on this one, click on save and then save. And if you go to your TR number now, refresh, this is my transformations. And if you expand your transformations, you see some three transformations you collected, and in one of the transformation you have these routines also collected. Okay, so very important point. That's why I'm explaining 2 to 3 times here. So what next? So far we covered many points. Okay, how to create tier, how to sequence of tier collection, how to collect different objects. When coming to queries, okay, so now composite provider ADS for info object, composite, all DTPs also. Yeah, when collecting DTPs also, under DTP, if you see any routines, you must take those, that one also. Okay, now the next important point which you must learn properly is query collection. Okay. Just a second. So let's see how to collect queries in a transport connection. Okay, so when coming to queries, there are some concepts you must understand clearly, so that it will be helpful for you to better understanding, I can say. So to show this example, what I am going to do is I am taking one query. Okay, so this is my query technical name. So I wish to collect this query in a TR. Okay, I am going to transport connection and then going to my query. Here when you want to collect a query, you must go for query elements. Okay, not exactly query type will be there, won't be there here, but you must go to query elements. Under query elements you have a query. Okay, now go expand the query and select on select objects and select with your technical name. Either you can filter with your technical name or use the search option. So I'm using filter. So selected my query and then click on transfer selections. Okay. Now what I am going to tell is a little bit, try to understand clearly. So when you see this query, when I expand this query name, under query name you see query element. Okay. Under query elements you have composite provider, which is dependent object of this query. Okay, so your requirement is only to collect the query. So right click on the query composite provider, do not transport any below. So you are good. Now when you expand query elements, try to understand clearly here. Okay, now few important points which will be very helpful, may be helpful to you. Okay, now you see here the query elements, these technical names 003. So there is no meaning at all for these elements. It means meaning means you cannot understand what is what and all. Okay, but when coming to this field order date, okay, so this is nothing but a variable. By seeing this symbol I can say this is a variable. Let me go to my query and see whether I have any filter selection. You see I have one filter applied, order date IOMI01, and if I come to transport connection, you see order date OIM01. So variables. So for variables RKF, CKF, you can clearly see the technical names here, for which you can see for RKFs, CKFs, variables and filters. So if you have such kind of things, you can see proper technical name. But what are these fields which are having any proper technical name, which is a numerical name? These are nothing but the rows and columns in your query. So you have one raw material and you have few columns here and you have some free cars here. So for all these things, SAP assign one element ID. Okay, SAP assigns one unique element ID for all these. Okay, so those element IDs are nothing but what you're seeing in the transport connection. Yeah, I cannot show you what is the element ID here, but so whatever you are seeing, these particular 003 and 8 and 1, all these are nothing but your rows, columns and free characteristics. Okay, so it is very, if you don't transport these, then your structure don't move properly to the next system. So when you collecting a query, it is mandatory to select all these. Okay, and wherever you see technical name like this, is if for example this order date variable already available in your test environment, then you no need to select this one. Okay, sometimes system won't itself won't put tick mark on it because this is the demo system you are seeing like this. Okay, but remember, under query elements, whatever these names are there, these are nothing but free chars, rows and columns and below. So after this you will see RKFs, CKFs and variables. So if you want to move anything, keep a tick mark on those. If you don't want to move anything, then uncheck those things and move only your query structures. Okay, and remaining apart from query elements, below to query elements, whatever you see, simply do not transport any below. Whatever you see under query elements folder, these are only important for your query. Okay, so select the transport number and then select the package. And when you collecting a query, better to collect in a separate transport, to for a better visibility and transport moment. You can okay. Now after collecting, you must go to here, refresh here, check your query and see whether all elements ID is corrected. So what is the need of coming to SC09 and check again one more time whether objects are collected properly or not? It's not, to prove that object got collected. The main intention coming here and checking is, have you collected anything apart from what you are expecting? That is the main point. Here my intention of the sales query TR is to collect only query elements. So when coming here, I am checking apart from query elements, unexpectedly any other objects got collected in my TR or not. That's what I am checking. I am not going to validate my these numbers with my transport connection. So that is the just to keep this in mind. So when I'm coming to transformation transport request and checking here, I'm checking apart from my transformation and routine, any other DSOs are got connected in my unexpectedly collected in my tier or not, I am checking. Okay, so it's very danger unnecessary objects moving to the next system. Okay, remember that one. Okay, so far I think we are good in learning how to collect different kind of objects in a transport request. So let's move to the next phase. So what is the next phase? The next phase is how to release a transport request. Okay, and what are the checks we perform on the transport request. For example, now in my sequence, my wish is to move my info objects first. Okay, so what I will do, so this is the main tier, this is the sub tier. Okay, so I need to release my sub tier first and then release the main tier. if the transport mechanism on your project is a manual mechanism, means people will release manually, then you do manual activities. But when you use the tools like SSM or charm tools, then it will be done via graphical interface used from the tool directly. You won't come here for anything. Maybe only one thing you do here is releasing the subtask manually, and main TR will be released from the charm tool. Okay, so now what I'm going to do, I'm going to release my this subtask. How to release a subtask? It may give error now because of dependent objects and all. To release a subtask, select the task number and click on this truck symbol, transport symbol. When you click on it, system will when you click on this, now system will do dependency check on your objects. So it is telling you are trying to move company code which is having country as a compounding attribute, which is still in not collected in any transport request. That's why it is failing. Okay, this is expected, but because I'm not collected it. So if everything goes fine, it will be released neatly, and if something wrong, system will prompt you this error message. When prompting, click on OK, but if it is asking release despite errors, no. If it is showing errors, never ever release the TR. Okay, you need to click on no and correct your transport request according to whatever message it is showing, and then if everything is successful, then only release the TR. Okay, task. Once the subtask is released, then release the main TR. Main TR release also same. Click here and click on the transport symbol. For example, you don't have authorization to release a TR, then in that case, to check the consistency, we have some options. Select the task, go to request our task, complete check. There is a check you can do. Instead of releasing it, you can validate whether it is correct or not. So check request consistency. It is giving not anything. Check syntax check. Not this one also. Or else maybe main TR we need to use something here we use. Simulate release, I think simulate release, I think. 1 second, let me check one more time. Complete check, simulate release. Yeah, if you go for simulate release, simulation is nothing but a dummy release, which is not a release, but it will try to release and check any objects are any inconsistencies there or not. So now you find it, so you correct it. Whenever it is successful, then you can ask your transport team to move this TR if you don't have authorization. Okay, because this is a good way at least to do cross check before from your side before asking your transport team to move the transport to the next system. Okay, so this is also covered. Same thing you can do for your main TR also. So this is done. So what next? So next point which I want to discuss here is some more important points here. What is important points? If you wish to rename this particular TR, this whatever TR after the TR number, whatever you see is nothing but your user ID. If you want to move your user ID to a different user ID, then you have an option here called rename option. Change owner. If you go to change owner, if you wish, you can change this owner to a different owner. So what is the use of it? No use. That's it. If you, for example, this is your TR number, and what will happen is here this is the username. When you click on display, only the TRs, only the transports where you have your user ID was used, only those transports will be displayed, because you are going to display only your transports. These are all. For example, I am giving a different username. Okay, and then I'm clicking on OK. You see, I see only 2 requests here, because in these TRs only this particular user ID was used. Okay, that's the reason I can see only these 2 TRs. For example, if I go for another, for this user ID, there are no TRs assigned at all. So that's why he is not able to see any TRs here. Okay, so based upon the assignment of TRs, so people will see their TRs. For example, you and your user ID 3 are working on one object. So on this query, now he wants to collect some objects on your TR. Okay, then at that time what we do is, since you are the owner of this TR, what you can do is you can add, you see add user, you can add one more user ID here, one more task for the new user. Okay, so that what will happen when you go back and check the TRs assigned to this 3, he will also can see this TR on his screen so that he can collect objects on this TR. So giving adding a user to an existing TR will give permissions to the other person to collect objects on your TR. Okay, it's not a big deal. You can learn later also small things which may helpful to you. That's why I'm discussing here. But important point, what else we need to see? As a support person, as a development person, sometimes what happens is, one second. One last scenario which I wish to cover here. These are the TR numbers. This is the data source objects. For example, now you wish to move this data source along with your info objects. You want to collect this data source in your info objects TR. How you can do it? Is it possible to collect now? So for example, no. What happens here is, take this data source name, go to transport collection and remove whatever is there currently here. And now try to collect your data source one more time. Now to try to collect your data source one more time. You see, when you try to collect your transport one more time, it is telling already this object is in a different TR. So you cannot collect one more time this TR, one more time this object. An object can be collected only once before release. Okay. Currently this is in this TR, so you cannot collect it in a different TR. It is not possible to add one object in multiple TRs. Okay. So to collect this object in another TR, what you need to do is, first you need to remove this object from the existing TR and then you need to collect it on the new TR. Then you can collect. Okay. So how to remove an object from the existing TR? Two ways you can do it. One way is, if it is a simple one object, right click on it, delete. This deletion is not deleting originally the object. It is deleting only the entry from this transport request. Okay. By clicking on OK button and again clicking on S button, it will be deleted. Okay. The other way is, for example, you wish to collect these transformations in your info object. Since it is a single data source, I can simply go here, delete, and then click on OK and then click on S. It is gone from here. And now I will come to transport connection, refresh here. Now it is not showing any TR. So now I can collect it in my info objects TR. Okay. You see, it came under my info objects TR. Okay. But when coming to these transformations, how you will do it? You have many things. You cannot go on deletion one by one, right? If you want to move these transformations to your info object TR, it is not possible because it will take a lot of time for you. So in these scenarios, what we will do is, there is an option called unlocking the TR. Okay, unlocking the TR. So how to do that one? Right click here. You must copy the task name, because these objects are collected under this task transformation. You must copy the task name. Go to transaction code SE03. Maximum sessions. Okay. So go to a transaction code called SE03. Okay. So SE03, in SE03, you have one unlock objects, one option called unlock objects. Double click on it, select OK. So before I am clicking on execution button, I want to show you one thing. Double click on the TR number. It will open in one tabular format where you can see every object was locked. Okay. That's why it is not possible to add these transformations in another TR. Okay, so what you are doing, you are unlocking the objects. So go to SC03, unlock objects, give your TR number, click on execute button and then unlock. Was unlocked. Okay. Now come to here and double click on this task number. You see the lock which you seen earlier, it's gone. Okay. It's gone. So now what I am going to do is, now I am trying to collect these three transformations in my new TR. So go here, transport connection, go to transformations type, select objects, select filter, go here. So this is already explained. I'm selecting my these three and transfer selections. It comes to right hand side. You see now it is again ready for collection. You see I am having this checkbox. So when selecting this, I need to use do not transport any below, transport all below because routines, do not transport any below. And then here also do not transport any below, do not transport any below, and here also same thing. So I collected everything, click on transport symbol. Yeah, sales info objects that TR only I wish to collect it. Now come to your transport connection, refresh here. Now you can see under info objects TR, now you have transformations also got collected like this. So if you wish to move objects from one TR to another TR, first you must unlock in the existing TR, then only you can collect it in the new TR. How to unlock? Go to SC03 and unlock the objects by using unlock objects option. Okay, so I hope this is more than enough to learn as a all the required. Mostly I covered everything. Anything else I forgot here? That's it. I don't I don't yeah, as of now it is fine. Only one last point which I like to inform you is there is one T code called STMS. Okay, what is the use of this T code? This T code will work only on the development environment because maybe in other environments you may not have authorization to open it. Okay, if you have authorization, well and good. So what is this STMS? Here I don't wish to explain each and everything, but one important point I wish to tell here is the transport routes. Okay, so this transport routes will give you a better understanding on how your transports paths are maintained. Transport path, what I am saying, transport path. When I start my discussion on this transports, I told you we have different landscape. In your landscape you have multiple systems and your basis or transport team will map from development to test and development to production, correct? So this kind of mappings where you can see it is in this T code STMS. Okay, so you see my A4H system, which is my existing system, was mapped to my new system TNR. So when I release any TR from A4H, it will go and sit on my target systems. How many you have target systems here? All those places, those will be available. When you means those will be available for import. So when you click on import button, then objects will fetch from this here to there. Okay, yeah, that's how. So transport path, if possible, try to check this transport path, which give you a better understanding on how your transport movement was configured in your landscape. Okay, and final point here is how to collect a calculation view in a transport request. If you wish to collect a calculation view in a transport request, we need to use a different T code, not this regular T code. Okay, so the T code here we use is SCTS underscore HTA. Okay, this is a T code. From this T code, we can collect calculation views, table functions, procedures and all in a transport request. Okay, so how in this T code, it will ask you to give the HANA repository package name. Okay, so what is HANA repository package name? In your HANA modeling, you see this package name, this package path is nothing but your HANA repository package path. So if you want to collect objects under this Saidu folder, Saidu package, then you need to give here Saidu. And according to the drill down, if you have multiple drill downs, you can give multiple. For example, now I want to collect my CV, which is under Saidu, under test, under I have one calculation view. I wish to collect this calculation view. Okay, then here what I need to select Saidu dot star F4. So this is the path. So I need to specify the path under which I wish like to collect my CVs, means where I have my CVs, I can say. So give the path and click on execute. Then what happens? You will see all the objects available under this path. Then from here, whichever you want to collect, select the corresponding object. Okay, here I'm selecting both, and then click on execute button. Execute button will prompt you for the TR number, package, okay. And if you wish to collect CVs, give it and then okay. So now these two CVs got collected under this TR. Now go to transport connection quickly to check whether these got collected properly or not. You see there is a TR. Under my TR I can see my package, and where is my calculation view? I am missing my calculation view here. 1 second. Select this one also, execute. Synchronized. Generally you must see your CV also here. What happened? I am not using. Must connect your CV also. Let's try to collect another thing. Okay, don't know what happened here. So under this Saidu package also I have few things to collect. So now click on execute. Now I have some objects here. So from here I wish to collect my this CV. Let's try to click on execute, save, then okay. One package, one object added to your transport request. But anyhow, something wrong happened here. Okay, maybe. You see, I want like this. So if the CV got collected, you can see under the CV name, package name followed by the CV name. Okay. So if you have like this, then CV also got collected on your transport request. So this is how to collect calculation use procedures table functions from HANA modeling into your TRs. If you release this TR to next system, then automatically next environment, these will be copied, moved to the environment. So that's all about transport connection and different what we do. So yeah, still we can have one more session where it is too much advanced at this point. To see more about transport issues and all we can discuss. Okay, I'm stopping my recording here.